Michigan Representative Debbie Dingell. Always good to see you, Congresswoman. Let's get right to this Associated Press report, which says the Border Patrol is considering Detroit as one of the other cities to fly hundreds of migrant families for processing. Have you heard anything about this, and what's your reaction to this plan in general?
I don't know the specifics of the plan. I know what, was Mike just reported, et cetera. But some of our Border and Custom Patrol agents, some of the law enforcement, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, have asked for some meetings because they are concerned. Look, we got to stop playing games with immigration. We need to have a comprehensive immigration reform. And this, the political taking these shots, doing this, both sides have got to figure out how we're going to come to the table, keep this nation safe, address the humanitarian issues, make sure that we've got labor for where labor is needed, and stop playing games. And that's what all this is. It's another political game. It's been 2 decades, and we cannot deal with one of the most pressing problems addressing this nation.
Yeah. But I tell you, when you just even started outlining it, it is a tall order to put together a comprehensive plan, which explains why this is something that has been lobbied back and forth, for decades at this point. I want to take a listen to Texas Representative Will Hurd, who gave our colleagues on Morning Joe a look at just how urgent the situation is at the border. Take a listen to what he said.
Last month, 109,000 people came in the country illegally. Month before that, 103,000 people. And for all of 2018, it was 400,000 people. Border Patrol is overwhelmed. ICE is overwhelmed. Customs is overwhelmed.
So by that description there, does Border Patrol have no choice but to send people to other cities?
Well, I know that they're overwhelmed in Texas, but I think that other communities are also being overwhelmed, which is why, what's it going to take to get us together? What's it going to take into everybody just thinking this is something that I can score a political point on, and understanding that we have got to do something that overhauls this system. And, there's so many complicated issues of this. We don't want to let gangs into this country, which is what everybody wants to throw out, but they're real humanitarian issues. And in the meantime, farmers need help, the hospitality industry needs help, the construction. We don't want to take jobs away from any Americans, but there are jobs that have to get done. So how do you take all these different issues? And we've got our DACA kids who are Americans in every way.
Yeah, which the president did not address on Thursday with his plan at all.
He did not. We got to, it's going to take some brave people on both sides sitting at the table and telling all of our leaders, time to lead.
Yeah. Here's another hot button issue as we move to Missouri. That's become, as you know, the latest state to pass one of the nation's most restrictive abortion bills. It's followed right in the footsteps of Alabama. That happened earlier this week. What is your reaction to this wave of abortion bans? You've got 8 states contemplating restricting them right now.
I think people miss the fact Michigan did it on Monday as well, though the governor is likely to veto it, so they've begun a ballot initiative here in Michigan. I hate this subject, but it is a woman's right to choose. I believe that these decisions are best between a woman, her doctor, her pastor, her minister, and it's not ours to interfere in. But cutting off women from getting good health care I'd rather prevent the pregnancy to begin with, is one of the issues. And so these are difficult issues, but what's happening now is taking issues that have been talked about for decades backwards. It's a very troubling move that I met somebody last night, who had a very difficult medical situation, who told me a horrific story. These are, when a woman is already in a very, very, very difficult state, making difficult decisions, I don't belong in it. Her doctor, her priest, and she do.
Yeah. Let's take a listen to what the House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, said in response to Alabama's abortion bill earlier this week. Listen to this.
It goes further than I believe, yes. I defend my pro-life position for my whole political career. But in my whole political career, I also believed in rape, incest, or life of the mother. There was exceptions. That's exactly what Republicans have voted on in this House. That's what our platform says.
Were you surprised at all to hear that from him? I mean, is it hopeful for you now that those people who oppose the bill, that the top Republican in the House says this one goes too far?
I think this is a difficult discussion, period. Actually, the discussion that I had last night with this woman fell into that category, so that's what we need to understand what's happening in the States. But why are we doing this? Why are we seeing this movement? It's so difficult. It just tears women apart, and it's an individual's decision. And but we do want to protect life. I could never have one. But it's not my decision to make for another woman. It's hard for all of us. And what we're seeing in the States is deeply disturbing. And all it's designed, again, is to stir up more trouble.
Yeah. I want to turn to a House hearing on Big Pharma in which Gilead CEO Daniel O'Day was grilled on how the drug manufacturer could charge $1,700 a month for an HIV prevention drug. It was discovered through taxpayer-funded research. Here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who was demanding answers. Let's take a listen to this exchange.
So the list price is almost $2,000 in the United States. Why is it $8 in Australia?
Truvada still has patent protection in the United States, and in the rest of the world it is generic.
We, the public, we, the people, developed this drug. We paid for this drug. We led and developed all of the grounding patents to create PrEP, and then that patent has been privatized, despite the fact that the patent is owned by the public. We refuse to enforce it. There's no reason this should be $2,000 a month. People are dying because of it.
Jaw-dropping. You know, almost $2,000 a month here versus $8 a month in Australia. How can the government better protect consumers from situations like this going forward?
Yes, we have to do something about it, and I think my colleague did a very good job in asking those questions.
You sure did.
You know, we have heard about the EpiPen, insulin. The thing that I'm trying to educate people about right now is the inhaler. That purple inhaler that you see children use is $800. $800. And you get a mother, this is how I found out about it, but I've been talking to people all over the place since, and a mother of two that's working 2 jobs, still at the poverty line, and has a child with asthma. It doesn't, and what the generic drugs, or it's not generically offered here in the United States, people with AIDS are often the ones that can least afford that kind of medication. You know, we have to do something about the cost of drugs in this country, and it's not a partisan issue. Republicans and Democrats are hearing about it across the country, and these are life-saving drugs, and we've got to go in and do something. These companies will alter a molecule and then keep something still on patent instead of putting it into generic. We've got to do something at the very least that Medicare can go in and negotiate Medicare cost prices so that we can lower the cost to consumers. But when the cost of insulin, the cost of asthma medicine, which are and the cost of this AIDS drug, but everyday medicines that children and adults are using are so prohibitive. People are making choices between eating and taking their medicine. It's not right. It's wrong.
Illness is non-discriminatory. It hits Republicans and Democrats alike. We've got to get on the same page on this. Debbie Dingell, always good to talk with you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Good to talk to you.
We're just getting started this